I'm just going to conclude with a nice little summary of what we've covered. Hopefully it'll give you a nice gentle reminder of all the topics that we've covered. It's been quite a long course, so please do try and find your own material to study along with this as well. It's always good to have some kind of paper material or like PDFs, etc. So in chapter 1 we covered the introduction to ethical hacking and pen testing. We covered real-world information gathering, vulnerability assessments and scanning, network attack techniques, desktop hacking, web exploitation, wireless network security. We looked at a bit of Metasploit and some detection evasion as well. So we looked at what is ethical hacking and how it can actually be ethical, who are ethical hackers actually employed by, and how are they legal. Types of hackers, we looked at white hat, black hat, grey hat, and what is hacktivism, and the actual types of hacktivism groups that are out there. You've probably seen them in the news. We looked at some of the computer crime acts and the legalities surrounding them, penetration testing types, and just remember, if you're going to do a penetration test on a company, make sure you've signed a non-disclosure agreement first, which will waiver any kind of legal obligations. Sorry, not legal obligations, they're more kind of legal rights that they have to prosecute you. It'll stop that. It's giving you permission to carry out the work. And we looked at some virtual practical environment setup as well. So real-world information gathering. I think from this we've pretty much deduced that it's amazing what you can find online with not very much information. We looked at information intelligence techniques, footprinting and reconnaissance of websites, etc., a lot of which is available through other websites. Social media websites and why it's not the best idea to have much information on there. How you can find company emails using Maltego, search engine hacking, which is Google hacking, using search operators to find what you want, using WhatWeb, HTTP recon and SSL scan, IP geolocation to find a particular IP address and whereabouts it'll be located, or at least which exchange the IP address is on anyway. Web application firewall detection and load balancer detection. There's some great tools out there on Kali for doing that. Did some DNS enumeration for pen testers, how you can do DNS server migrations, etc. And the same for mail servers. And we also did a bit of DNS and whois lookup, which of course you can find on things like whois.com and many other websites. Scanning and vulnerability assessment. Packet crafting with SCAPI. That was when we changed the source port of an IP address to cause a denial of service attack, which means I send one computer a ping packet, but I make it look like it's come from somebody else, and I ping 10,000 computers. They all reply to a different IP address to me, causing a denial of service. We looked at some network enumeration and mapping techniques with Nmap and Wireshark, etc. Vulnerability ID and assessment techniques with a few kind of open source applications like OpenVAS and Nessus, etc. And some practical avoidance techniques as well. Low and slow attacks are pretty much undetectable unless there's any kind of monitoring going on there to see exactly what you're doing, which I very much doubt on a larger network. And how to craft your packets as well, so they can be fragmented, so that they can pass through IDSs. Obviously IDSs don't look at encrypted packets, so they don't look at HTTPS traffic, VPNs, etc., which is all good stuff. Some network attacking techniques. We did a bit of offline password cracking, looked at the disadvantages and advantages of man-in-the-middle attacks and how easy it is to do as well. Sniffing SSL and RDP attacks as well, and how you can very easily brute force the username and password on an RDP session. We looked at security assessment of Windows and Linux and some built-in security features that you can enable and disable. Trojans, backdoors, viruses and worms and the differences between them. We looked at how to hack Windows, how to hack Linux, data mining and what it's used for as well, and what you do after you've exploited the system. How do you keep the backdoor open? How do you ensure you're not going to get caught, etc. And we looked at malware, the different kinds and what it does. So web exploitation, web app architecture, the different kinds of web servers, etc. Web app scanning and mapping, password attacks and web testing tools. There's a load of open source ones out there. And we looked at some SQL injection as well, and the differences between cross-site scripting and RCE, some denial of service attacks, and distributed denial of service attacks as well, and what you can do if you're actually being attacked. So wireless network security. This was kind of more aimed at your average home user, to be honest, and it's how you can secure your own home network. Um, First of all, you need to understand what threats there are, and once you've assessed what threats there are, then you can look at how you can protect yourself. And obviously, you should never use WEP. It's very, very outdated and it's easily crackable. So rogue access points and what they actually are, and how you can create one yourself, in fact. How you can sniff things wirelessly, and remember, APs need to be in promiscuous mode for that to happen. And protecting wireless networks as well. What steps can you take on your router to actually stop people from getting in, or at least put them off? Did some Metasploit basics and looked at the Metasploit CLI and the Metasploit command line. And also we had a look at the MSF console as well. Detection evasion. The most important thing, if you're going to try and hack into a system, you need to not get caught. The ramifications to doing that are, well, I don't need to say that, but they are very, very bad. Obviously, if you're doing it as you should be, in a legal sense, it would be great if you could present your findings to the head of IT or the actual CEO. They're expecting you to say, oh, yeah, I didn't find anything because nothing flagged up on their system, no alarms. And you say, well, actually, I got in, did what I had to do, and got out again before your systems even detected me.